Hello, everybody, and welcome to another stream. So it's been a little bit of time since the last one, and it's been summer. I've been trying to do some traveling, and while the weather's still decent, but I've also kind of put quite a bit of work on not the visual aspect of things, but trying to optimize things, trying to reduce size map of assets, and also uh, trying to look at performance in a way that does not take away from like the visual uh, um, the visuals. So yeah, let's go over some of that. First of all, let's kind of go over the performance, some of the performance things that I was trying to do. So as you can see, I'm not sure if you remember from last video, if you were to look at this FPS count up here, and if I turn off the helpers, it's gonna go even higher. So and this is just a test level, so it's maybe not so um, a big gauge to kind of a big point of reference. But yeah, there's like angles that you can look at, and things are like at 100 FPS in like oh, maybe it's not a forest area, but like in a forest with some vegetation, it's kind of up to 80, 70, 80. Um, so and actually, where was I? I was around here-ish. Yeah. So one of the biggest things that helped me with this, and if anybody else that's interested, I can quickly share what I've done, is so in my config folder, I have added this default scalability config file, and this is what I've added in there for some of these improvements. So in the previous last time I streamed, this was kind of topping at around, I would say maybe 60 at best. Um, so just I think the biggest improvement was this global illumination quality equals 2. And while I'm not entirely sure how this one works, because when you look at the settings here, um, you can see like some of this are near, so they kind of drop, but the global illumination was not really affected. So if I change these back to here, let's see. You can see like it doesn't really affect this that much. So so yeah, changing this setting for the global illumination down to 2, it's not like it doesn't seem to be the same as what's in here for like because I was expecting this to be brought down to medium, but doesn't really seem to be changing this. But as you can see, like right now, the this one is it seems like it's a little bit more, or actually I'm just looking in the same direction. So, but yeah, you can see like it goes to 95, 100. And yeah, you can like probably tweak this down for like a lower anti-aliasing and a medium view distance. Not big of a change, but still compared to what it was previously, it gained about 30 frames per second in this test test level. Hey, Vinix Vixen, welcome. Thank you so much. Happy to have you. Happy to have you. Um, so like I said, these config settings, these helped a lot. At least this is what I've set up. So that's one thing. The other thing, and we can't really see it in this level here, but I can show you kind of the difference in, whoops, the difference in the shaders. So you can see like this is my old shader for the terrain, and it's kind of going into like the dark red, so heading into like the bad area, so to speak. So what I've done is I was trying to see if I can revamp this and hopefully make it better. I didn't get too far with it. So what I ended up using is, and I can highly recommend this, is landscape shader from Brushify, and we'll see that in like the main level, how that looks. And that is like in the dark green area. So it's very, very uh, very much cheaper than what my current one is. Plus, even with the added layers, it still performs that well. So I'm just gonna call it like wizardry at this point. I'm not that well versed in the terrain shaders and the difference between, mine. The setup is pretty much similar with the material functions and all that. But the other addition to that is I was able to bring back like runtime virtual textures that I kind of gave up a while back because I was a little frustrated with the extra complexity in the terrain shader. And when you also add the runtime virtual texture, it like bumps up the instructions. I don't know, by 80, 100 instructions, I think usually. That's what was with mine. So, and I'll show you how that impacts things in that main level. Let's see. Yeah, let's jump into game, and I'll show you a couple of the things. I have worked quite a bit on um, unifying or changing the inventory, the way I not the way I was handling inventory, but like the way the data structure for the inventory was. So previously it was like extremely complex, and that was like kind of bumping up the size map for a lot of my things quite a bit. So that's the other optimization I was able to do. And again, this I'm kind of scratching the surfaces this because I'm not well of a that great of a programmer. So um, and but I was able to bring down the size map by at least 25% just by doing that data structure change and a number of changes in how I referenced UI. So I'm been trying, implementing more and more of the let me turn this down a little bit. Using more and more like the soft references and just, getting a better understanding of that because, coming from like Java programming, to my knowledge, um, there is no soft references like in C++ or at least in game development. So let's take a look at one thing. You'll notice like the character has a different set of clothes. So, I kind of did away with that prototyping, outfit that the character used to have, into more of a, okay, what the actual character is gonna have. So that's one of them. The other thing that I did is I've unified the way if you remember, like you have an option to either um, have a device. Let's not get noticed, but so you have the option of having a device, like a physical device that you pull up. You kind of put away your gun or whatever, or the just a regular HUD. So and actually, let me go full screen with this. So so I've also worked on that a little bit. So let me pick this up and I'll kind of show you how that works. So right now, you have the device just as before. You might see there at the top, I'm still working on the layout of this, so it's not fully there at the moment. Um, but um, but yeah, like with this one, if you go into like and you click use HUD, and you've seen this before, it just pops up on the side. But now these are the identical um, widget, right? So it's or like um, they're the same class. Before it used to be like a separate one where the device would have a different widget that was made specifically for that scaling and all that uh, than the actual than this HUD here. So yeah, you can see like the scaling is just a little bit off at the moment, but yeah, now they're one and the same, and they're whenever I open them, they're referenced through like interfaces. So um, again, just making things a little lighter on that as well. Now, a lot of work that I've put in is into like interactions. So you might have seen in previous videos that there's some things that is just require like, a simple pickup would just require a interaction and you pick it up. Um, for example, like opening the lid, right? But you've seen that you can go and search through the trash cans, right? So if you open the lid, and then what happens if you look at the E, it kind of like pulsates a little bit. So that means you'd have to like kind of hold it down. So then the progress bar fills out around the E. I didn't really like that like straight line progress bar, so I wanted to have something that's a little bit more um, integrated into the UI. So that's why, you kind of just like scroll it around. Right now, there's nothing in the trash can. So, if you remember from before, it used to say, okay, scraps or something. But now if I search again,
It's empty.
there's also like the change in the little notification uh, text at the bottom. So, and then there's like this type of things, and you can see like the E pulses really fast, where you have to like actually, tap it. And of course, if you don't tap it for that amount of time where it kind of refreshes, um, it's not gonna nothing, it's not gonna complete, right? So if I continue to tap this, and there you go. So like the lid pops up, and then it kind of goes into that slow pulsating thing where you just have to like kind of hold it down, and then interact with and search through that item. So yeah, I wanted to make that a little bit more of a um, I'm hoping it's intuitive enough, so for example, like if it's just a single tap, the E is not gonna pulsate or like kind of um, like you have, so there's like the pulsating here, when you kind of have to hold it down, and then I'm not sure what you call this one. Oh, actually, no, this one would still need to like search through trash. So let me start over. So like this one here, where it's like pulsating really fast to tell you that you need to like kind of, mash the button. Whereas with one of these, it's just like pulsating really slow. So hopefully that is intuitive enough that people will know that, okay, this one I need to hold down, right? And then this one, when it kind of goes like this, I need to like kind of just mash the button, and then um, this is gonna pop off. Yeah, so that's kind of like from the interaction standpoint. Um, I think that took me a little bit longer than I wanted, mostly just around it's kind of a simple thing, but mostly around this the UI to make that kind of look good, kind of to the point it's something that I like. So yeah, there we go. Okay. So yeah, like I said, main thing was around performance, and again, this in this test level, um, I was able to bump it by, I would say, 50% at least, just with those scalability settings that I showed you earlier. So let's go into like the main level, and we'll go over some of the level design changes that I've made there. I mean, I wouldn't call it big, but they're expansion expansionary. Like I've expanded on the town quite a bit. I felt there was not a um, a good centering point to it. Like you can kind of tell there was a center of town, but not in the distinctive way. So I'll show you what I did there. Kind of just to create a center of town, and that expanded the town a little bit. And yeah, so let's load into that and take a look. Um, and also one thing that I'm still trying to work out, and I've been trimming more and more as I go through some of these. Um, the um, if you remember from previous streams, I keep getting this video memory has been exhausted. Um, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it as far as how that is generated, because sometimes it happens, like here it happens, but then when you zoom out, there's like more, maybe more that's being loaded. It pops up a little bit and then it goes away. So yeah, what I wanted to show you is kind of this area over here. So I've kind of placed like a city hall in the middle of town. Um, so and also if you remember, this area was running at around 15 frames per second. Now it's about 25. Maybe with streaming it kind of went down a little bit. But yeah, and this area again, I haven't done any optimization on it at the moment, so there's still more things to be done. Uh, so yeah, this one I've kind of created this. I wanted to create the center of town type of area, and just pushed some of these zones to the side a little bit. And also this one stayed in place. And then also moved. If you remember, like back here is um, where that grocery store used to be. So I thought, it's kind of like out of place over there. So I moved that over here where the diner is in this parking lot in this area of town. And that the the garage that was there, I moved it over to this side. It's kind of back here. I haven't I haven't trimmed this forest down. So yeah, I need to do that. But yeah, so you might have remember, the one of the sewer entrances is going to be here in this area, which kind of leads you back into where the cemetery is. So I had to push the cemetery back a little bit. Also, kind of worked a little bit more on this area. It was just very unfinished. I would say it was just a spawner for the cemetery stones. So I just wanted to make sure there's like some paths going on. Um, yeah, so this one is this on this little hill back here, and zone 4, which is this one over here, is still the same, and no changes here. But I've added some of the garages just to kind of taper down from this buildings. So I might have mentioned in the past, have like a kind of a big item, medium item, then kind of a small item. So, and kind of made sense to me to have, these roads were already back here, but I wanted to not feel like they felt like an afterthought. Like, okay, so what does that road connect, or like, does it connect to anything? So yeah, these roads just connect to here. It's gonna connect into, I'm not sure if I want to connect it into this parking lot, but it's kind of looping around this zone, right? Um, so after that, in here, where the laundromat is and some of these buildings, I started to look to see if I can build some areas that are like kind of the backyards of these houses. So I ended up with this, kind of try to add some more details. And here is where you can actually see the runtime virtual textures in action. And if you notice, it's kind of like where this is actually landscape blending into this little patio here. Let's see if we can find some more examples. And yeah, you can see like, I'm not sure why it took a while for the frame rate to stabilize, but it's more into like the 35 to 40 range, especially in this is more of easier, simpler area with it. So so yeah, I've kind of tried to complete some of these kind of back alleys. I just wanted to make them kind of like this, going to where the laundromat is, and then another one right here with a similar type of backyard, and tighten up these little alleyways. This one that takes you over to the laundromat. Um, so um, so that this area got like the most love, I would say. And then, kind of back here behind the houses, I've added a couple of these sheds, and then again with the garages that are on that side. And if you remember, like the world is a little bit kind of in steps. I'm not sure, like I would say, like on different elevations, right? So I've changed the road that was coming off of this one here. I've changed it. I still need to like finish off where it links up. So I've changed it so it's kind of like looping around behind these houses. So it's kind of looping around into the this road going back here, which loops into here and then goes back around where these areas are. Hey Dogan, welcome, welcome. So I have a 1070. I think at this point is like a 10-year-old, I think. Yeah, so it's a 1070. I think some of the first generations of 1070s. Um, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. I can, especially now, I'm seeing like the drop that I'm getting from the from streaming. Like I was in this area working on this area earlier, and it was up to 30s. So I'm not sure it's kind of a impact at the moment. So yeah, the main road here that goes next to the courthouse, not the courthouse, but like the town hall, it leads you into here, and this one goes through here. I wanted to add a little bit more features, so I decided, I'm gonna go with this bridge and actually kind of close. If you remember, this road used to like go through the town, through this like residential area and into down here where the motel is. So, and then what I did is I closed this off. So I'm probably going to put a couple of kind of a cul-de-sac over here. And what I did is I went about and created this little bridge here, and which kind of goes downhill through here, and eventually it links up into the main road. So I wanted to add a little bit more of you know, it, I kind of liked it before, like how it was, but it didn't really feel like, okay, so this is kind of going this way and linking over this hill and then dropping down the hill. So I wanted to, make a little bit of a change in it. So I felt like, you know what, I'm gonna try adding this bridge, and I feel like it's giving it a little bit more of a, kind of a landscape feature, landscape variety, so to speak. So I'm not working for Microsoft. I'm just working at a local college where I live. Yeah, I've never worked at Microsoft. Yeah, so as I was saying, like this area back here, I wanted to kind of, make it in this kind of steps, um, just to have it as a transition from the lowland, so to speak, where this the town is kind of going up here, higher up, where this, kind of this road goes, and also making it a little closer to where these residential areas are at. But what I wanted to, I was talking about the landscape. So let's go into like the shader complexity view. And you can see like this is just the dark red. And I do have, quite a bit of layers painted around here, so um, but and this red is actually from the meshes themselves that have the runtime virtual texture applied to them. But again, these would be probably not visible at a distance, and uh, so I'm not that concerned about a few of them having RVT. But my main thing was that the landscape itself is so much cheaper now for like the um, the cheaper cost, right, in the shader. So this area is still under development. I think this is the last part that I want to complete, and then just finishing off. There's like going to be like a few houses over here. I've removed those shacks, those really kind of beaten down, cabin in the woods type of things. I just didn't feel like they were, um, they were in their place. They didn't fit. I didn't feel like they were fitting. I did leave some of the things out on the lawn type of stuff, but kind of simpler houses, just adding them here, and also much more efficient. So this package is also like a really nice package with these houses, and so I did the same thing over here, replaced all those houses with these types. They're a lot simpler. They're like a single mesh, and even though it has multiple, and I can show you one of them. So even though it has multiple material slots, what it's really cool about it is that the last LOD, you'll see like it's got like how many? 12, 13, 18. But the last LOD is only using this material slot. So if I kind of go out, you'll see that I think at LOD 4, this is the this one's using this last element. So yeah, this is a really cool package, and I really like that about this. So you can see that if you go to LED 4, there's only one being used here. So yeah, so that's one of the other changes. Oh, hey, Dogan. So, why you change engines from CryEngine to Unreal? So this happened some years ago. I think maybe 6 or 7 years. And actually, let me before I get into that, let me see if I had anything else to discuss. Oh yeah, so the RVT. Before I forget, so people don't have to like you know. Hear me ramble about the move to Unreal. But another thing with RVT was I was able to blend in roads much better. So especially like these roads here, um, it's kind of hard to tell where the road um, ends. Yeah, you can tell it a little bit better over here depending on like the angle that you look at. So you can see like it ends right here. But I feel like they blend in much better with the um, now with the landscape using RVT. So for example, this one is a even better example here. Um, so yeah, you can see like the video memory is popping up now and again. So yeah, that was another reason that I wanted to use RVT, and I felt especially given that the shader is so much better than what I used to have. I decided to go with it. And then, it works really nicely for things like this. This one blends in much nicer with the landscape. And like I said, I'll use it in moderation. It's mostly for like roads and things like this. Um, and maybe around town for some assets like this patio. Um, Maybe what else could there be? Yeah, things that are kind of flat usually. I think they work really well. Um, yeah, for example, another good example. So if you look at let's kind of hide this. So you can see this thing here, and you can see how it kind of blends in with the landscape pretty nicely. Um, okay, so let me see. Did I have anything else? Um, No, I think that was it. Yeah, so like you can see like right here, like this one is kind of closing in on 50-ish frames per second with some of these new optimizations that I've put in place. Yeah, so Dogan, the reason I changed from CryEngine to Unreal, so at the time, and I think that is also the fact today, the engine is dead, so there's no more updates being pushed. Probably in-house they do make changes, for Hunt, but for us, the engine was not getting any more, like their documentation, like if you look on their YouTube, hasn't been updated in years, if not months now, months, if not years. So that had me worried, you know. And then I decided to try Unreal and see how it goes. And it was the progress that I was able to make in Unreal was incredible. So And I think I started in 2018, and I started from zero. Like I had no idea. I think I checked it out one time before, so I had no idea how it goes. And then I decided to go with it. All my friends had already moved from CryEngine to Unreal, and they were really happy about it. And they kept asking me, "Hey, give this a try. Give this a try." So, and yeah, there's the thing about say it's hard to optimize performance, and especially with the 5 version of Unreal, because there's so many more features that have been added. So yeah, definitely. Like I'm seeing now, what is it like Borderlands 4, right? I've seen like so many people complaining about the performance in that one. Um, so yeah, definitely. I mean, and even for myself, I think I might have gone a little too far before like trying to look at performance. But then again, I'm at a point at the game right now, which I think everything has been placed in the world. So I can definitely do a more of a deep dive into, optimizing draw calls, building HLODs, checking to see whether I can use like the pack level actor features. Um, for sure. So, uh, these some of these scalability changes that I was putting in place, that was to me that was like I've never seen 50 frames per second in this world. I'm not sure. Like here is around 40-ish, so this one's a little bit busier area. But and of course I'm counting, it's kind of 40, but with streaming I've seen the performance drop quite a bit. But yeah, it's definitely hard because there's so many things um, that you need to consider, and and yeah, a lot of people, it seems like they rush things. I'm kind of patient. I don't have to like. There's no investor pressuring me. Um, I am hoping that people, they're they know that people know that I don't have a release date, so I hope that they're patient as well. But and it's just one of me. But yeah, that's the main thing is kind of not have optimization as an afterthought. So um, and again, when you look at Borderlands, and hopefully the video and audio is coming okay. I'm getting this message from uh, YouTube that there's not enough video to maintain smooth streaming. So hopefully the video and audio are coming in okay, guys. But yeah, it's a very complex engine, very complex piece of software, and yeah, I think people, you know, and when you're looking at Borderlands 4. And I get it. They're using Lumen. They're using all some of these things, and um, but I think they might have gone overboard with it to some extent with some of the features that don't provide any improvement in quality. So or like visual quality. So for example, um, this is the I think this is a very good example here. So this particular CVAR. Um, I think by default it might be set to 4. So let's take a look. This one is kind of closing in 35, maybe 40, hitting it at times. But if I set this to 4, I mean, as you can see, there's not that big of a visual difference, but the frame got halved. It went down to half. So, uh, yeah, do I want that or do I want better frame rate? Where the difference was so little. So I'm sure that people would notice it, but between that and this, I mean, I kind of like this better to some extent. I've seen some comparisons done in I think Metal Gear Solid, and I'm not sure if that one's also done in Unreal Engine 5 or I can't remember. but they were like showing like medium versus high versus ultra, and medium was looking better. Like even a lot of the comments were like, "Oh, wait, but medium looks better than high and ultra." So, and the frame drop was really big. So so yeah, that's, I think, when you do optimization is you gotta, you know, do it continuously, right? So that's another thing that that I had done is you might have remembered from, and it's gonna stutter a little bit because I'm kind of looking at this bigger area now, but you kind of remember that I used to have like a bunch of different rocks. So I ended up just with three. So there's like this one, and then one more for like smaller areas. So yeah, I've cut. I think that really did a big cut on the draw calls, especially for these bigger meshes. So that's another thing that I'm trying to do to be proactive about, like kind of just, reduce what I use and what I don't really or and what I don't really need. So yeah. Um, but so Dogan, hopefully I gave you an answer to why I switched from CryEngine to Unreal. So which type of scripting do you use in I use Blueprint. So I'm not a, I used to when I was doing, and you probably remember this, when I was doing CryEngine, I was doing C++. I was trying to learn some more of it, which was pretty fun. But in Unreal, everything that I do is Blueprint. So yeah, I was able to do. I don't think I have any. There are a couple of plugins that I use that are um, built in C++ by the developer, and then they open a few nodes for like Blueprint usage, and that's all I need. One of them is for like a dialogue thing, and I think another one is for saving. But everything else from like inventory interactions, world gameplay, like for various items, it's all Blueprint. So yeah, relying on like, interfaces, mostly when it comes to communication between different blueprints. And like I said, that was um, one thing that saved a lot of the size map for some of these assets. So so like I said, I kind of brought it down, I think, by at least 25% to like a third. So, and there's still more to be done. Okay, so let's see. As far as updates, I think that was that was most of it. So I was showing you some of the visual improvements that I was able to pull in with RVT. So yeah, a good example of the RVT is it would be, for example, like down here, right? So right underneath this, I think, or do I have like a mesh going on over here? Maybe I don't. Let's see. So you'll see that it kind of helps blending in with some of the sidewalk as well. So let's see, if I was to sculpt this down a little bit, I can't remember if I have something here. Oh, I do. Okay. So, um, oh, you spent too much time on CryEngine. You know what? I mean, that's a great point. I don't see that as a bad thing. Like I learned a lot of things. So it's, you know, at the time, it was promising. Like, um, if they kept on building on CryEngine, maybe I would have still be with CryEngine. I don't know. But it just seemed like they were abandoning it. And that was a little frustrating. They were promising like a new like 5.6, I think at the time, and that never came. And they just released like, or at least not in time. I can't remember what it is nowadays, but um, so, it was just getting a little frustrating, and I know they're like a small team and all, like a lot smaller um, than Unreal, but it was um, not having any kind of idea of the future was a little unsettling. And plus, the other thing is, their marketplace is completely dead. Or, comparing it to Unreal is non-existent. It's kind of like a fraction of a fraction. That's unfortunate. So I do, as a single developer, I do rely on the marketplace a lot. Like I would not be able to like build all of this by myself. Um, like the assets, I mean, building the town is a different story. I love doing that. But like creating all these assets, like these buildings, I don't know, like, yeah, this sidewalk, I can't remember where it came from. I think I might have done the shader on it. I think it was from a different package, but um, and while there's things that I do myself, that you can't find anywhere else, like the bridges or, some different buildings. I still, like the marketplace, having the marketplace be so powerful and so different, is a huge plus. Yeah, and I totally get it. Like they were in financial difficulties, and they had to focus on the project that is making them money. Which is Hunt, and that's why probably they dropped Crisis 4, right? That's also one of the reasons. Yeah, so guys, this is what I was telling you about with some of this runtime virtual texture. You can see how nicely it blends into the this kind of concrete surface, right? So without any kind of harsh lines, you can see like the nice transition over here. So that's yeah. So speaking, going back to CryEngine. Yeah, a very, very powerful engine. Like the results, visuals at the time were, um, at the time when I decided to go with CryEngine, I wasn't so much. I should have like looked at it more in the terms of usability than kind of visuals. There was also the thing that I wanted to learn a little bit more C++, so it felt like it was, it was better with CryEngine to to get into C++, and it's definitely, to me, as a novice, it seems more kind of traditional C++. You have to like build a lot of things yourself, and in hindsight, it's kind of one of those things that, yeah, you do, but that takes forever to like make a game, especially if you're being, one person. So that's kind of why I decided to, let's try something else, So yeah, happy I did. Happy, I was able to kind of make all this progress, um, with Unreal. So yeah, okay. So for I was thinking, for the rest of the stream, just do a little bit of, level design around here. Maybe, finish off these stairs over here, and this area back here, just to get that done. What do you think about Unity for small project? Oh yeah, totally. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I am not a proponent of one engine versus the other. Um, in the end, the purpose of it is to make a game, right? So, and whichever works for you, that's best. I think for a smaller project, Unity is also great. I think one of the reasons that kind of put me off with Unity is, uh, and I can't remember at the time if they had the subscription model that they have nowadays. I can't, I don't even really know what's going on nowadays. The only thing that I remember from Unity is like they had a lot of controversy around their, I'm not sure if it was like around the payment model that they were wanting to put in place. So that's what put me off Unity. Like I didn't, I don't really like those kinds of kind of playing around with your base. Oh yeah, we don't want to do. Oh yeah, we'll do something else. We'll do this now. So, um, but yeah, there's plenty of people using Unity. So that's another thing that was um, was bad about CryEngine. Nobody was using it, and I think I was one of the only people, maybe one more, that was making tutorials for CryEngine. So that was um, that was kind of not good for CryEngine, and I was feeling really bad. I was like, come on, I mean, they want this engine to work and be used by other people. They're gonna end up charging, like, um, I'm not sure what they were going for with royalties. I think it's similar to CryEngine. Excuse me. So and I'm totally fine with that, but it's also, if you want to attract people, you're not in a position of dictating, you know, you want to give them like a positive option as to, come to CryEngine. We got better licensing model, we got a team that can help you out, but yeah, I think the only project outside of Crytek that was um, that was really nice was Prey. And while it's not, I try to play it, so it's not really my type of game. I mean, I really enjoyed it in the beginning, but the enemies, I'm not sure why, with those mimics or whatever they call them, it just didn't, I didn't really like them. But as a game itself, it was running beautifully. Performance was amazing. It looked beautiful. So yeah, CryEngine is capable of creating something really beautiful and that runs really well. I'm not sure about Hunt, how well that would run on my 1070. Last time I tried it, it was very poor. I mean, it was running at 30, 35 frames. But that was a while back. So so yeah, they um, unfortunately they kind of lost the race at this point. Hey, hello, hello. So yeah, that's why I feel so bad about it, because it's an awesome engine, like um, when I used it, I really liked it. Um, yeah, so there you go. Kingdom Come Deliverance, that was an amazing project, But I think at this point, that engine is kind of like the Star engine. I don't think it's got too much of CryEngine left on it. Um, but um, but yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance, again, a really really awesome looking game, and I mean, again, I have a 1070, guys, so I am way behind the times with video cards. It wasn't running great. I'll have to be honest with you. Like, I think I tried the demo, or I think it might have been a demo. I can't remember. But it was running. I think I wasn't getting above 30 frames per second, and that was on like I think between like medium and high settings. So yeah, I wasn't able to play it. I mean, unfortunate, but um, such is such is life. But it was a good showcase. I wish it was running as well as Prey was. It was a great example of but then again, it's not an open world type of game, Prey. So, I get it. Um, it's pretty a lot easier to manage a game that's not performance optimization wise, a game that is not open world. So yeah, but um, but yeah, I mean, the Kingdom Come Deliverance looked amazing, you know. But looking at some of the interviews I've seen with some of those guys from there, and this was in the first Kingdom Come Deliverance, they had already made a ton of changes to the engine. Yeah, they started from CryEngine, just like Star Citizen did. I believe they started with CryEngine, but then they kind of went about and tweaked the engine heavily. So yeah, but and this is what some of these bigger teams can do. Uh, yeah, it's as a big team of I think I can remember like Prey was made by Arcane. So yeah, I can imagine, they have the resources. I'm not sure how much they actually changed the engine, but like for example, Star Citizen, they heavily um, made changes to it. So yeah, I think they actually call it Star Engine, or they don't call it CryEngine anymore. Yeah, they licensed it, they made use of it. So that's the thing with software engineering, right? All right, how do I get around this thing here? Maybe I'll just make it a little shorter. But yeah, there's like I said, there's one thing that I really liked about the CryEngine games that I was able to play. They all ran really well. Like Rise ran really well. What else? Crisis. I've actually never had a problem running Crisis. Of course, I didn't really try to push anything past their, um, like I think people were like doing a lot of the, but will it run Crisis type of stuff, and they were trying to push the specs and like the settings all the way to like crazy territory of settings. But I've never been that way. So I just play it on high. It was totally fine for me. I think it's totally fine for 90% of the players out there. Uh, and it was running great. But so yeah, I was really kind of excited about Crisis 4 because I played all the other Crisis, and so I really liked the IP. I really liked the environment. But I was kind of bummed out when I'm not sure if they abandoned it or they just put it on hold. It's unclear. So yeah, hopefully they'll bring it back. Um, oh, so Lumberyard. Yeah, I actually tried it. Funny enough, I've actually tried it just to see. Oh, did they bring anything else? I think maybe because I was like in the CryEngine community, I was getting CryEngine related news, and Lumberyard was one at the time. And um, so the first time I tried it, when I looked into it, that was years ago. Um, it looked like a somewhat revamped CryEngine, a little bit. I need to figure out what to do with this corner here. So, but it, I think it's dead. I don't think anybody used it. Or I might be wrong in stating that. I think I'm not sure if actually Star Engine is coming out of Lumberyard or out of CryEngine. So whatever runs Star Citizen. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I was kind of thinking that it might have started off of Lumberyard because that was one of the Amazon's one of the bragging points that they had. Like, oh, Lumberyard is running Star Citizen. I'm like, really? I had no idea that's it really is doing that. So yeah, I can't be 100. I'll have to look it up. Be 100% sure on if it's um, if Star Engine started from the CryEngine code base or from from lumberyards. But again, my understanding is that lumberyard was, didn't have that many changes from uh, from CryEngine. So yeah, all right. So this is kind of coming together. Some of these stairs connecting these areas, there's some kind of navigation that the player would have to do around these backyards, around here, going up the stairs. Yeah. But unfortunately, I don't know if there is any known game out there that is made with Lumberyard. Uh, so, but yeah, I guess, I mean, I haven't seen any news, anything. I haven't actually even looked, to be honest. So, my apologies for that. But yeah, Dogon, if I have you on Discord, do hit me up, if you hear anything. I'm kind of curious about it now that you brought it up. Because it's been like kind of a big thing when it came out. Um, when Crytek licensed CryEngine to Amazon, I think it was like a big deal, like $60 million or something like that, 60, 70. That kind of saved, because I think they did it so they would save themselves from bankruptcy at the time. So they had to they sold they licensed the source code to Amazon, so Amazon could do whatever they want. Hey Neo, welcome, welcome, hello. But yeah, it's um, it's a crazy world out there. Sounds horrible. Yeah, I'm just joking. But yeah. So one thing, another step that I haven't gotten around to do is these buildings. As you can see, they're made out of a bunch of different pieces. I'm still investigating whether like H-LODs would work best, or I have to like merge these into one mesh. I hope that it could do with H-LODs, um, because I mean it's really easy to like modify these since they're modular. But I am hoping that um, that HLODs would provide a way. So yeah, hopefully I'll get some more testing done on this and share it with you guys. Um, just from because it's an optimization type of thing. Like I think a lot of people are doing this. They rely on marketplace assets, a lot of modular assets, a lot of actors. You can see 40 43,000 actors. So hopefully I'll be able to provide some insight if I figure some things out. So Neo, when do you have a date in mind to release the game? So, I don't have one at the moment. What I am going for, that's what I've been working as hard as I can on this, is to have a demo this year is my hope. So where all these areas would be, navigable, playable, there'll be a few missions going on. So, and I think after that, getting some feedback on performance. Again, maybe I am not the best one to gauge performance on 1070, but I wanted to start from the 1070 because if I can get it to run decently on a 1070, then up-to-date video card should run it easily. But yeah, to your question, I don't have a specific date in mind, and again, it's the main thing at the moment is going to be the the demo. Kind of releasing the demo. Having people play it. Letting me know how things are running, and so yeah, I'm getting close to that. I mean, every day you're closer than you were the day before. So, um, so every day I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to releasing the demo. Um, yeah. the only unfortunate thing is, especially this year, is we've had people leaving um, the my department. So it's been a little bit more, uh, a little bit more than more, but more work being put on us than it used to be. Because at the moment, giving considering the situation in the world, nobody is hiring. So all the stuff that used to be like shared between, five or six programmers, now it's three or four. So it's you know, there's um, um, how should I put this? Um, the real life sometimes gets in the way of things. But yeah, slowly but surely. And like I said, hopefully the demo, I'm trying to get it out this year. And now it's getting colder where I live, so, and I don't do any kind of winter sports. So there's going to be more of indoor activities. Um, but uh, but yeah. Um, so I mean, the main thing is with the demo to um, to have people's interest and kind of get them to um, play it, check it out, and if they're, hopefully it will, you know, I'm gonna release the game no matter what, or I'm gonna get this done no matter what. But yeah, as always, you hope that what you've put like a lot of love and time into would be successful. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I keep going at it. That's what I'm trying to do. So um, as a as a time, if I was to give you like a date, I mean it's definitely going to be a couple of, a year, maybe a couple more years. Hopefully life doesn't throw any curveballs my way, and everything works out. But that's one thing that it's hard to, you know, you um, can't gauge, ahead of time. So, but yeah, thank you so much for asking that. Let's see, what can we do over here? And again, it's this thing is like a passion project of mine. That's how I've always loved games, and um, game development is, hey, I'm gonna try and keep at it with this thing, Uh, hopefully it works out, right? Well, thank you. I really appreciate your words. Thank you. The thing about it is that, um, and also why I'm hoping that it's gonna work out is because I already have uh, ideas for um, a part two. So this is gonna be kind of a two parts type of story, not necessarily connected between them. It's not going to be like a cliffhanger and you're going to have to wait for like on your own too. No, so it's going to be, it's going to have a beginning and end. And but what it will have is, like what I'm currently planning is um, for kind of what's going on in part two as well. So yeah. Let's see, what do we want to do with this one? Maybe just make it a little bit wider like that. There we go. Yeah, so there we go. We got some stairs going on over here. I was kind of debating, really debating whether I want to have this one on like this elevated plane here, But then I'm like, you know what? I've always liked this, in in the world around me and in the kind of the video games that I've played, kind of having this uh, kind of elevated level. How should I put this? But like in different at different levels, so you have like the plane here, then something above you, and something higher up there. There's like the road all the way here on the top. You know, going around here, then some of the area, the residential area up on this hill back here. The motel is kind of on this little slope back here. Yeah, so I know I need to like paint some mud over here to remove the vegetation, but yeah, that's I kind of liked having things set up like this in the world. So yeah, one thing that I'm actually looking forward to is Dying Light, the Beast, because it seems like that town is on. It's kind of like the same setup that I have to some extent. It's kind of like one of those cliff side type of towns. It felt that way from some of the trailers I've seen. So yeah, looking forward to that game. I think it actually might have actually come out, but yeah. Um, so yeah, let's see. What can we do over here? I think these I can just like make a little thinner like that. All right, just trying to kind of blend that into these steps over here. So do you know about the world streaming model they introduced with 5.6, or do you already? Um, oh, you know what? I've heard about that, but I'm not sure if it applies to world partition. So I'm using world partition. Um, And oh yeah, I'm not sure if I mentioned that I'm also on 5.6. Since the last stream, I think I was on 5.5. Yeah, so that's another thing that kind of took me for a loop for a couple of weeks, like some of the changes that I have to make for following the move to 5.6. But yeah, thank you. I'll definitely take a look. I think I might have seen some kind of update on that. Um, and I'm not sure if it already is enabled out of the box in 5.6. But I'll check it out. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. I mean, it's kind of, and just to mention this, this is another one of the reasons I think I kind of bring it up every other stream or so. It's another one of the reasons that I really feel like streaming is useful because, I do get some ideas from you guys. I really appreciate that, and especially things like this, you know. So thank you. I'm still kind of old school when I write notes. Um, so yeah, let me take a look. Plugins. Is it World? Version Petition World Tree to optimize World Stream performance. I wonder if it's this one, because I use World Partition, so I wonder if it's this fast geo streaming. I mean, it seems like it's kind of along the lines of what you're saying. Yeah. So, okay. So I'll definitely try this, after the stream, because I know you probably have to restart engine. I'm not sure if it's going to have to compile some shaders. But yeah, thank you so much for telling me about that. Maybe I noticed it, but I was like It's experimental. Should I try it? But yeah, awesome. I think even with experimental stuff, as long as everything is built and it runs, then, hey, have at it. Um, okay. So let me jump into game mode. I've been having some trouble with some of these assets not really showing in the level once I go into game mode. So I need to see why that is. Let me see where my start thing is. Start player start. I think it's kind of close-ish. Okay. Yeah, let me save real quick. Let's jump into game mode. Yeah, so I'm gonna try that tonight. See how that goes. Thank you, Nia. Um, yeah, so you'll probably be able to, let's see, like this particular mesh um, is kind of, yeah, see, it doesn't load. I'm not sure what's up with that mesh. It's kind of weird. After moving to 5.6, did you notice improvements in performance? And if so, um, you know what? So I'm not sure if you just joined, or like if you've been here from the start. I was sharing some of the scalability settings I've applied in my project to get some at least 50% in performance improvement without too much loss or negligible loss of visual quality. Um, but uh, even after, even before applying these, I did notice a performance improvement. Um, and so I think the stutters, um, it was it felt negligible. I haven't really seen a big decrease in stutters. Frame rate and I think what were some of the other um, improvements that I've noticed? Um, yeah, I think I've definitely noticed an improvement, increase in frame rate. I'm not entirely sure what that might be due to be honest. Not, I didn't say due to, I said due to, if anybody else. But but yeah, so let's see. I see. So there's like a little bit there, kind of stutters here, but again, it's kind of in the editor. So that's interesting. What's up with that particular mesh that is not loading? That's really weird. Um, Yeah, so I've noticed one thing that I have noticed and I haven't been able to figure out is, and maybe it's due to having to build the landscape splines, is like stuff like this, to a spline that I've removed a while back. Um, so let's see how things are running back here. Yeah, so here there's a little bit less of a performance. This is actually just where one of the sewer entrances is going to be, so you can like navigate between some of these zones. Um, let's see how things are looking back here. Yeah, so no, yeah, frame rate is kind of low-ish, due to this area being unoptimized, but I can't say I'm noticing like any kind of heavy stutters. But yeah, it's also like after the walking around a little bit, maybe some of the areas being loaded. Yeah, so what I was sharing earlier is some of these settings that I've applied to my level in this default scalability config file. So I've noticed, like I said, I've noticed quite a big um, improvement in my current um, performance after that. So, and like I said, without too much of a visual, um, you know, uh, loss in kind of visual quality. Let me see. Where were we? Oops, not here, but not here either. Oh my God, I'm kind of losing my where my bookmarks were. Um, yeah, so definitely I will for sure I will try that out. Um, and also one, like I said, one thing that I'm trying to I don't get is like, why are these? They're not simulating physics. Why is this mesh not being loaded? It might be one of those, I've seen this in the past with some of these. Not sure if most of them like from like Quixel stuff, but there's like a kind of an angle that you can look at them. Or not an angle, but like depending on that, I know they had a name, but I can't remember what it was. Uh, so I'll have to see what because it was kind of odd why only this particular mesh and the stairs are not loading properly, so it's kind of weird. Another thing that I wanted to share with you guys and that I've been using quite a lot recently is ChatGPT. So maybe you've used it too, but I've been using it quite a lot in explaining some concepts that, not necessarily so much concepts, but like stats. So, for example, you would have a material, like take this material for example, and you would go to the master material, and I'm not very good at understanding like I think it's what is HLSL or something like the shader language and kind of when when things are like too complex or so it seems like it's able to read all of these and give me some answers or some pointers that are I felt were pretty good. Um, oh, it gave it always gave me wrong answers. Oh, you know what? It's not perfect as most of these are, but it's uh, for things like this. I've always like wondered what's up with the resource used 8 or resource used 5. What is that? Texture samplers. What are the texture lookups? Like the user interpolator. So at least things like that, it would like kind of give you, might be broad, but for somebody that doesn't really know much and they only know the fact, oh, I need to keep these instructions low. I can't go and have all my master materials be at, 1,000 instructions. I need to keep them lowish. Um, so, things like this were, to me, they felt useful. Um, so yeah. And I've heard that too, so 5.7 should be interesting. I'm kind of curious as to what it can do, you know. Um, I feel like, we see all these um, kind of, I'm not sure if I can call them promotional, but, the game built by AI or like things like that. So, okay, fine, AI, build whatever games you want to do. This is for me, it's still a hobby and I still enjoy doing it. So, whether you make games, whether I make games, eh, whatever. Um, games are meant to be played. So as long as you can make a decent game that I enjoy, hey, all right. But I'm really curious to see what Epic is gonna do with the AI in 5.7. But I'm not sure. Was there a did they give a timeline on? Yeah, it's gonna be released in uh, tomorrow or next year. I can't remember if I've seen anything like that for like a timeline for 5.7. At least I don't remember seeing one. Yeah, I mean, so in my project, I'm trying to stay away from nanite. Uh, like whenever I try to use that, it needs to have virtual shadow maps, I believe is what they called. And my experience with that is that it drops performance quite a bit, at least on my end. So um, I'm kind of looking forward to it, in all honesty. But you know, it's um, one thing that I want to see is, more stability in, like these stutters. I mean, is it us as developers that are, we're missing some things, or is it the engine? I mean, it's kind of like you see all these Unreal Engine game projects with stuttering performance, and a lot of them made by, big teams. Like I am one dude, not in a basement, of course, but in my in a bedroom here. But there's, if this stuttering thing happens to like teams like Gearbox, then what chance do we have? Hopefully that makes sense. So we'll see what they have to bring. Hopefully something good. Um, oh, okay. So it's an RTX type of thing. Could be. Yeah, I mean it's oh, really? So that's one of the games that I've never played, like Fortnite, just I should have at least tried from like a performance kind of, oh, I want to look at this to see how it runs aspect. I just never really, I'm not sure why I never really got into it. Um, maybe because like I jump into it and then I don't really get to play too much before I get kind of shot or uh so and plus I don't really play multiplayer games, which is, yeah, I'm old. But no, I used to play them, not to I used to play a bunch of multiplayer games. I was just like, after a while, damn, this is just way too toxic. You can't really play a video game without like getting aggravated or something or other. And I think I might have just like kind of, you know what? Screw it. Um, but yeah, I had no idea that what kind of video card do you have, Neo? Hey, Design 3D Space. Hello, welcome, welcome. Okay, 1660 Super. I think that's kind of on par with a 1070, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken. But does yours have RTX, or is RTX starting from like the 2000 generation and up? Oh, okay. Yeah, so we're about the same. I can't remember if yours is slightly newer or did it come out around the same time as the 1070? All right, so that's a little bit better. Going up the stairs back here between the garages. There's this area over here, going up the road behind here, parking lot over here, kind of an overlook. I was thinking of adding some steps going down here as well, so we'll see how that works out. Um, yeah, so then the substation, I moved the substation over here onto this corner. So yeah, going down this road, and this one kind of brings you down into the main street. Not main street, but like kind of down through here. Oh yeah, 2019. So yeah, I think seems like slightly newer than mine, but kind of around the same time. All right, so we got these things here. Yeah, I kind of see this is one thing that I've always liked in games, kind of moving from a lower area to like a higher area type of thing. Um, and then, kind of this little alley back here with the garages, some kind of trash bins over here probably. Um, let's see what else. Oh yeah, so I forgot to show the there's also like something inside here, for the town hall. There's like the interior as well. Let me just paint a little bit of so I can show you because I forgot about that. Um, since that one was a pretty big part of these upgrades, these changes. So let me paint a little bit of mud just to kind of remove the vegetation. Um, what graphic recommend for artists, RTX or GTX? I mean, I guess it depends on your budget, right? So, I think with RTX you can do like the whole ray tracing type of stuff. So, you can do that with a GTX. And I think, for like used cards, I think nowadays, a 2070 is like a mid-level card anyways. So, um, you can probably get those for like a couple of $100, I would think. I'm not, since I haven't been looking, I'm not really, I don't really know much about it. Apologies for that. Let me see where the world partition data layers outliner, where is the interior for this? Let's check it out. Ba, 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 ba. Town interior, where did I put it under? Maybe it's not that. Okay, there we go. Maybe some shaders need to compile. Okay, yeah, so this is kind of some of the interior. You can see like there's some stutters there that hopefully we'll see how that goes with that plugin, so I'll try that out. But yeah, design 3D space. I would say if you can find an RTX, then go for it. Just just because of the new features that it have, of course, so like newer generations, which is awesome to have. Yeah, so this is kind of, I need to like finish off the area where it kind of, where you actually go into these offices. But yeah, like I said, there's going to be interiors to the game as well. So, um, but let's see, what else did I want to do here? Maybe. Oh, another thing that I wanted to share with you guys. Yeah, Neil, thank you so much. And if you want to hang for one more minute, maybe you knew this already, like I didn't, but whenever if you have like a bunch of roads and there's like a different layer that they're put on, like in this case, in my case, is this forest, right? And you want to put like something with just mud, like I had. So, like I said, you might know this already. Um, if you were to go in here, select all points and switch to segments, there's this layer name here. I never really understood what the layer name was about. So what it would do is it would actually paint it underneath that, um, underneath this. You have to take into account like, you fall off, so how far off the road you want to paint that. So I'm just going to put this pretty low, like 50. So let's go ahead and switch back to segments. And then if I sculpt selected segments, let's see, it should have, yeah, there you go. So it painted everything in that mud layer. So I just wanted to add that in for people that, you know, um, might have not seen this before or for never really thought of it like myself. Like I never thought of that. That's something. Um, so hopefully that's useful. Yeah, something that I actually wanted to share earlier, but I completely forgot. I mean RTX, I mean rendering technology, GTX for gaming technology, I guess. Oh no, so that's so design. I don't think that's it's not a rendering technologies versus a gaming technology. If you think of the R for rendering and G for gaming, I don't think it's just a generation, I believe. And I think with RTX is like the ray tracing, maybe. GTX, I don't really know what it meant. Maybe it meant gaming, no idea. But but yeah, with the RTX, you get newer, like more recent features, and I think the main one, especially if you do rendering, it's kind of ray tracing. Um, oh yeah, so Neo, hopefully that was helpful. So I've been using that quite a bit after I found out about it, because it doesn't really tell you. It's like, okay, what layer name? But yeah, once you hover over it, and that's why I don't think a lot of people do that. It's like name of blend layer to paint when applying spline to landscape. To me, it never like what I don't really know what that is about. So, but yeah, design 3D space. Hopefully that gives you an answer. Um, most of the cards nowadays are RTX from NVIDIA, right? I don't really know much about the AMD cards. Yeah, you too, Neo. Thank you so much for stopping by. Good to have you. Yeah, and from now on, like I said, I'll try and stream again weekly like I used to, since I'm probably going to be a little bit more homebound, not doing too much traveling anymore. Yeah, have a good rest of your Sunday as well. And I'll let you know how it goes with that plugin. Thanks again. All right, let's see. What do we want to use here? I want to use this one. There we go. That's a little bit better. Kind of weird type of curves in this road, but there we go. Yeah. So I think, yeah, that's just gonna finish this off here, and I think that might and end the stream for today, guys. Really appreciate everybody taking time out of their Sunday to stop by. Um, I just got still a few things to do around the house, so but let's see how we can finish this one here. And I think I can call that a good end point for the stream. Sometimes I've noticed this with some of these points for whatever reason, they just get like, I'm not sure if it's the, you know how when you select one of these, there used to be, if I recall correctly, like a line that you can like adjust this. I'm not sure why I can't see that anymore. Sometimes the UI is kind of funky, it happens. But yeah, let me apply the other material to this. Where is it that I'm using over here? You know, kind of the one without the lines. It's not a two-lane highway over there. It's just a back road. So this one, there we go. Kind of like that. Just a back road going behind us. Yeah. All right. So I'll play around probably tonight, trying to like kind of join these together. We'll see what works best. Probably some decals. I've been using some decals to like kind of make these things happen. You know, like these street corners. There's this little mesh that I made out of the same road, you know, and then just added a couple of decals to to blend these together, these street corners. So yeah. Um, well, with that said, guys, that's kind of the updates from the past. I think it's been almost a couple of months since the last time I streamed. So really appreciate everybody stopping by, checking this out, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you next week with some more updates. And yeah, thank you guys again for stopping by. Have a great rest of your Sunday and a great week. And I'll see you next one. All right, take care, everybody. Thank you so much.